Hey there, if you're just getting started with your coding journey, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to meet one of your most used, most powerful tools, the Python list. Seriously, this is the first big step in learning how to handle data, so let's dive right in.
Okay, so just think about this for a second. You're building an app. Maybe it's a game with a bunch of high scores, or a to-do list, or you just need to keep track of a bunch of usernames. How do you do that? You're not going to create a separate variable for every single one, right? User 1, user 2, user 3. No way. That would be a total nightmare. You need some kind of container, a way to group all that stuff together. So, what's the solution?
Well, the elegant and powerful answer is the Python list. You can think of it as a super smart container that holds a collection of items, and it holds them in a specific order. When it comes to organizing data, trust me, this is about to become your new best friend.
So, a Python list has three key superpowers. First, it's ordered. That just means items stay in the exact sequence you put them in, kind of like songs in a playlist. Second, it's changeable, and this is huge. It means you can add, remove, or change things after the list is already created. And finally, it allows duplicates, so you can have the same value appear more than once, no problem at all.
All right, enough talk. Let's see what this actually looks like in code. Here we've got a variable called names, and we've assigned it this list of strings. Now the most important thing to see here are the square brackets. Those brackets and the commas separating the items, that's the signal to Python that says, hey, I'm creating a list.
So, we've stored our items. That's great. But a container isn't very useful if you can't reach in and grab a specific item back out. So how do you do that? Well, the answer is something called indexing.
Every single item in a list gets a position number, and we call that an index. Now, here is the crucial point, and it's a detail that trips up so many beginners. Python starts counting from 0, not 1, 0. So the very first item is always at index 0. You gotta remember that. It's absolutely key.
Let's make this crystal clear. Looking at our list, to get the first name Alice, you ask for index 0. Need Charlie? Well, you just count up from the start. Alice is 0, Bob is 1, so Charlie is at index 2. It's a really straightforward way to pinpoint any item you need.
Okay, but here's a challenge. What if your list has hundreds of items, and you just need the very last one? You probably don't want to have to count all the way to the end just to find its index number. Luckily, Python has a really clever trick for this.
And here it is. It's called negative indexing. You can actually count backward from the end of the list. Index -1 will always, and I mean always, get you the last item. -2 gets you the second to last, -3 gets you the third to last, and so on. It's an incredibly convenient shortcut that you will use all the time.
All right, we can create a list and we can find things in it. But remember that second superpower we talked about? Lists are changeable? So now let's explore how to actually modify your list after you've created it.
Okay, the most direct way to change an item is by using its index. In this example, we're targeting index 1, which in our list was Bob, and we're just assigning it a new value, Zachary. And just like that, the old item is gone, completely replaced by the new one. Simple as that.
Now, what about adding brand new items? There are two main methods for this, and they have really distinct purposes. So think of it this way. Append is what you use when you're adding just a single new thing to the end of your list. Extend is for when you have a whole other list of items and you want to add all of them to the end of yours.
So let's look at .append. It's super simple. You just call it on your list, so student_names.append, and you give it the single new item you want to add inside the parentheses. Python takes care of the rest, tacking new student codes right onto the very end of the list.
And now for .extend, notice here that we're giving it another list inside the parentheses. It doesn't add that list as a single item, no. Instead, it kind of unpacks that list and adds each individual item, so hello and then world, to the end of our student names list. That's the key difference. Append adds one item, extend adds many. Whew, we've covered a lot of ground here. So let's pull all this together into a simple toolkit you can use as a quick reference, like a little cheat sheet.
And here it is. Just remember, use direct assignment with the index to change an existing item. Use .append to add one new item to the end, and use .extend to add multiple items from another list. If you can master these three, you've totally mastered the basics of list modification.
So there you have it. You now have the fundamental skills to work with one of Python's most powerful data structures. You can create lists, you can pinpoint any item inside them, and you can modify them on the fly.
The only question left is, what are you going to build with it first? Go on, give it a try. Happy coding!